Hello, Your Honor, and to everyone else in court. Mr. Marquardt, I hope that you are paying attention to what's being said, to what's happening in court today, and see it as an opportunity to turn your life around. Uncle Ronnie was a person who grew up in a tough life, grew up in a tough era, and he just grew up tough. He was nicknamed the Phantom because he would be a very free spirit. If he felt like going on an adventure, camping, traveling, whatever the case is, nothing held him back. He would just do it. He loved life. He loved people. He loved animals. He's had struggles. He's made mistakes. He has been forgiven from the mistakes he's made in life, none of which can compare to the tragedy that we are brought together here for. And I can just know that he was a special man. He was a great uncle. He was just a funny guy. He just loved telling jokes. He loved just entertaining people, telling stories. But most of all, he loved to help people. He loved to be able to feel as though he was making a difference, no matter how small or how large. Had Mr. Marquardt needed Uncle Ronnie's help, whether it was finding a detox or an alcohol abstinence support program, any of these things he would have done. If he needed food, Uncle Ronnie would have given him the last meal he had, the last dollar he had. If he just needed someone to listen to him, Uncle Ronnie would have done that. That's just the kind of person he is, and I don't think that we'll ever know the truth as to what exactly transpired that night. All that I do know at this point is that it was vicious, it was unnecessary, it was an assault not only on Uncle Ronnie but on the entire community. The fear that people had afterwards, the way that people were in shock, they felt a loss. It was not just a loss for me, it was not just a loss for Uncle Ronnie's kids and grandchildren, but it was a loss to everyone who ever met him and whoever may have come across him in the future. With that said, I don't want to go too deep into Uncle Ronnie's life because I don't think that that really is going to make any difference in where we're at today. What I do think is important is that there is mercy shown, as that is what Uncle Ronnie would have wanted. He would have wanted to try to see the best in the individual, to find a way to forgiveness, which I haven't gotten to yet, and I don't know if I will. But I do understand what Uncle Ronnie would want, and as such, I'm asking the court to not dole out punishment based on retaliation, not to be based on strictly punishment, but more about rehabilitation, which is something I think has gotten away from us in society. I think that all too often people are locked up and forgotten about. That rehabilitation is a word that needs to be brought back when it comes to incarceration and criminals trying to steer their life in a better direction. And I can only hope that Mr. Marquardt finds the programs and the assistance that will help him to reach that goal. I don't want for him to look forward to a life in prison, but instead to look at his life beyond prison. Use it as a stepping stone to make yourself a better person when you come out. Contribute to society, help others, and know that there is good in everyone. And that includes Mr. Marquardt. Somewhere deep inside, it may not be showing at this time, but we have to have confidence in each other as human beings that there is good in every person. And I just hope that Mr. Marquardt, if you're listening, you take advantage of counseling, of any psychiatric or other services that may be available to you while you're in jail. Use it as an opportunity to make yourself better and prepare yourself to re-enter the world when the sentence is done. I don't know what happened in the life of Mr. Marquardt to have this much anger, this much hostility, and this much violence come out like it did. I don't understand how one person can literally bite the face off of another beyond recognition. To me, that screams that there's a mental health issue involved here. And when it comes to mental health, it's not about just locking people up. It's about finding ways to help them. All societies should be judged on the way in which they treat the most vulnerable of their people. And in many cases, the people locked up in our institutions, whether it be prisons or hospitals or psychiatric facilities, if there was help and resources available, many of them wouldn't be where they are. So, Mr. Marquardt, I would like to say I wish you well, but that's not something I'm able to do at this point, but I do wish you success in turning your life around. Your Honor, I do ask that the consideration be made in what Uncle Ronnie would have wanted, and that whatever sentence is handed down, that it includes intensive, psychiatric, and other services, because I think that's going to be key to Mr. Marquardt's recovery and better contributions to society later in life. I am James Cousineau, the nephew of Ron Graham, and I thank you for taking the time to listen to what I had to say today.